Now, granted, we are the only team, and I think we're the first team in NFL history to have held double-digit leads in all 9 of our games. We haven't won them all, but we've held double-digit leads. So that says something about this team, I guess. I think. Hey, welcome back. This is another edition of Ravens Online on Gatekeeper, bringing you information on the Baltimore Ravens and news around the NFL. So here we are, week 11 already. The season seems to be just flying by. I don't know what I'm going to do because pretty soon we're not going to have football. We're going to have basketball, but no football, and it's not the same. So let's jump right into this action. We have the 6-3 Baltimore Ravens hosting the 3-7 Carolina Panthers at M&T Bank Stadium this Sunday at 1 p.m. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see what the rest of the season brings. I know we have the easiest schedule in the NFL upcoming, but I want to see this team kind of round into form, see what they have, if they play down the competition, how we are as a team once we get healthy. Now, we just came off our bye, so we should be getting some people back. Some people who've had ailments should be feeling a little bit better, so we'll get a little bit better play out of them. I'm excited to see David Ajabo. Hopefully he makes his NFL debut this Sunday. Second round pick. We haven't seen him 11 weeks into the season. Hope he does well because that pick could have gone elsewhere to another position, but I digress. I'm not going to get into that right now. The Panthers. The Panthers. What are you doing? I know my man Brodney, shout out to Lunch Break Hot Take, is not too happy right now with this team because, listen, if you're tanking, you need to lose games and not win them. What are you doing? Are you tanking? Are you trying to win? You traded away your best player in Christian McCaffrey. You had an opportunity to trade Brian Burns for 2 first-round picks, but you said no. I don't know if they know the direction of the team, what they want to do, what's going to happen going forward. But I have an eerie feeling about this game. Now, a lot of people think that this should be a blowout win. I'm not too certain. It's just something doesn't feel right about this game because they still have pieces. You know, the Panthers pulled a Joe Flacco, so to speak, and PJ Walker has an injury, even though we didn't see him limping off the field after the win. So enter in Baker Mayfield. Hopefully this Sunday he's not feeling dangerous and he's back to his old self and just turning the ball over, giving away pick sixes, and just doing things that normally a number 1 overall pick just wouldn't do during a game. But he does have DJ Moore, who is one of the best young wideouts in the NFL. And we should know because he's right from my backyard. He's from the University of Maryland. They have Chuba Hubbard at running back. They have Deontay Foreman and a pretty decent offensive line. So offensively, they are not slouches. It's just that they don't play with that consistency that you would want from an NFL team. That's why they are 3-7. Now, defensively, we are starting to round in the form, so to speak. People are starting to understand their roles. I think they're finally understanding Mike McDonald's defense, and people are making plays. Now, we just need a little bit more, just a tiny bit more on the turnovers. We need this defense to kind of pick up the pace like the old Ravens and get those turnovers and turn them into touchdowns because we don't know what we are going to get offensively. Now, with the bye and the subsequent 1 game in 23 days, we hopefully should get Mark Andrews back. And hopefully, we still have a passing game that's kind of predicated on spreading the ball around instead of forcing it into Mark Andrews because, hey, when he's in the game, he's going to get all the coverage. Now, James Prochet has been getting open. Hopefully, he can continue to do that. Devin Duvernay, we need to get him a little bit more involved other than trick plays. Isaiah Likely, will he continue his ascension if Mark Andrews is in dominating the ball as in pass receptions? I think this is going to say a lot because defensively, Carolina has some pieces. Like I said, the aforementioned Brian Burns. They have cornerback J.C. Horn. We don't know if Jeremy Chin is going to play. That's going to be something to look out for because Jeremy Chin is a playmaker. And if he's in the game, that will be a difference maker. Now, will we be able to run the ball against this Carolina defense? I don't know because from game to game, Carolina plays different ball. Sometimes they look dominant. Sometimes they look good. Sometimes they look downright terrible. But once again, they are tanking. Whether they are showing that on the field or not, we don't know. So for me, coming out of the bye, I need to see John Harbaugh laser focused. I need to see good coaching. I need to see preparedness. You've had time to prepare for this game. We should not come into this game looking like we don't know what's going on or what to do. We shouldn't have pre-snap penalties. We shouldn't have clock management issues. We shouldn't have flagrant challenges that mean nothing that you're going to lose anyway. The same repetitiveness that we've had all season and all throughout John Harbaugh's career. So I just want to see crisp football. I want to see that we have made some changes and some adjustments from the things that have ailed us throughout the season. Now, granted, we are the only team, and I think we're the first team in NFL history to have held double-digit leads in all 9 of our games. We haven't won them all, but we've held double-digit leads. So that says something about this team, I guess. I think. Hey, we've played some darn good teams, so that says a lot. Now, hopefully going forward, once we get these double-digit leads, we can keep them and expound on them and blow these teams out because we have reached the part of the cupcake schedule. Now, a lot of people expect us to go 8-0, which I would think that we would do, but we are the Baltimore Ravens, so we may slip up here and there. I'm expecting not more than 2 more losses the rest of this year. So 6-2, possibly, for the rest of the year. Nothing more. Because like I said, we're not playing good teams. The only good team to me that we're playing left is Cincinnati, and they are in flux. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're dominant. Who knows? But we shall see. Can't wait till Sunday. All right, now let's dive into the rest of this NFL action. Okay, starting off this Week 11 NFL action is Thursday Night Football. We have the Tennessee Titans visiting the Green Bay Packers. What can you say? Tennessee is 6-3, somehow quietly up in the upper echelon of teams in the playoff hunt. But the struggling Green Bay Packers somehow found a way to win last week against the vaunted and scary Dallas Cowboys. Dakota Prescott did not play his best game. Aaron Rodgers threw 20 passes? When is the last time we've seen Aaron Rodgers throw 20 passes in a game and Green Bay win? Come to think of it, when is the last time we've seen Aaron Rodgers throw 20 passes in a game, period? But the run game and defense led them to victory. So in this Thursday night matchup, I always say go with the home team, even though Tennessee technically on paper is the better team. I am going to go with the Green Bay Packers for the win. Now, to start off the slate of the 1 o'clock games, man, I'm starting to miss those overseas actions at 9:30. It's kind of cool. But anywho, to start off the 1 o'clock games, we have the Chicago Bears traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Now, once again, I don't trust Marcus Mariota, but he does have Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Gives him an advantage. You have 2 6'4", 6'5" receivers that can really get after the ball. But you have Chicago with Lamar Jackson light, Justin Fields burning up the NFL and kind of putting his name out there for the MVP race. Won't happen because Chicago's a terrible team and he's passing for 180 yards a game. But him rushing is something to behold. The Chicago Bears have kind of taken a page out of the Ravens playbook, and they're trying to play good defense and run the ball, leaving the passing game as an afterthought. So with that formula and it being Atlanta, I'm going to have to go with the Chicago Bears to take this in a narrow victory. And finally, some football for us. We have the Carolina Panthers taking on the Baltimore Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium. Now, this should be an exciting game for us because it may be a practice game. It may be a game where we can try some things offensively to see if it works. We should dominate this game defensively. Baker Mayfield knows us, but he's not the kind of quarterback that puts fear in the team. And once again, he's going to give up some kind of mistake. He's going to fumble the ball. He's going to throw an interception. He's going to throw a pick six. Something's going to happen. And I just believe that our defense is a little bit too strong for this Carolina Panthers team. So I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens big. I'm not giving a score prediction. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns going to Orchard Park to take on the Buffalo Bills. Now, if I am not mistaken, Deshaun Watson has actually practiced today for the first time since being suspended by the NFL. This may help them in the future, but right now they have to take on the preseason, pre-world, everybody's pick, Buffalo Bills. Now, Josh Allen, he's been having a little bit of a slump recently, throwing 4 red zone interceptions in the last 2 games. I think he's had 6 turnovers. He has an elbow injury, which I know is the excuse that everybody's using, but he's just playing poor football. That vaunted Buffalo defense has to put up with Nick Chubb, and pretty much it. Amari Cooper is up and down, which is not his fault because he does have Jacoby Brissett as his quarterback, which, once again, I do not trust. In some games, he plays like a confident quarterback. Other games, he looks like he belongs on the practice squad. With that being said, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills, probably 7 to 10 points. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions traveling to the Jersey Shore to take on the Newark, New Jersey Giants. Now, I like what Dan Campbell's doing up there in Detroit. He's trying to motivate his team, bring him in the right direction, but clearly they just do not have enough talent. I was a little skeptical on the Aiden Hutchinson pick, but dude just seems to be a baller, just making play after play, week after week. For me, he is in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Sauce Gardner may have that, but he's close. Now, the New York Giants, Brian Dable, my pick for Coach of the Year, because listen, the Giants are right there, one game behind the Philadelphia Eagles with what? Saquon Barkley, and that's it. That is a masterful coaching job, and we could take a page out of his book, How to Win with Less Talent, even though we have more talent and less coaching. So with a healthy Saquon Barkley leading this team and Daniel Jones at time making timely plays, I'm going to pick the New York Giants to take this victory. In our next matchup, we have an old NFC West rivalry renewed. I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember when the Rams were in LA before, but the Saints and the Rams used to be in the same division with 49ers and the Falcons. I don't know how that made any sense, but that's how the alignment used to be. So we have the defending Super Bowl champion Rams, who are looking pretty down and out right now. They were already marred by injuries on the offensive line, poor play by Matthew Stafford, but now it looks like Cooper Kupp may be done for the year. It's going to kind of mark the end for the Los Angeles Rams season. Now, the New Orleans Saints, they aren't doing that much better themselves, even though they haven't been hit as hard with injuries. But Dennis Allen is the coach. Once again, he does not know what he's doing. He didn't know what he was doing when he was with the Raiders. He still continues to play Andy Dalton when he's clearly not the answer at quarterback. Why not put Jameis Winston in there to see what he can do? But that's a story for another day. The bigger question to me is what happened to this Los Angeles Rams defense? They still have Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and they signed Bobby Wagner in the offseason. You would think that they would perform a little bit better than they are. Maybe it's fatigue because the offense isn't getting anything done, but who knows? Even with that aforementioned defense, I'm going to have to go with the Saints. I just think that they're due for a victory. And not that good, but somebody's got to win this game, right? Next up, you have the New York Jets taking on the New England Patriots. The surprising New York Jets. I told y'all in the offseason, this team is going to be about something. Joe Douglas is building a winner over there. Maybe we should have kept him. But anywho, the New England Patriots are going to go for the season sweep of the Jets, even though I don't think this is going to happen. McCorkle Jones just isn't that guy. Has Bill Belichick lost his touch? Who knows? But I'm still trying to figure out why you have a defensive coordinator as your offensive coordinator. It's not making too much sense. So even with the loss of the Jets, with Breece Hall, they brought in James Robinson from the Jags. They have a strong ground game. Their only problem is quarterback. Zach Wilson is not that guy. They have a stud wide receiver, rookie Garrett Wilson. He is that dude. It's just that Zach Wilson can't get him the ball. He is the optimal game manager. He is the Trent Dilfer of the New York Jets. But with that being said, I think I'm going to have to go with the Jets to continue their winning ways and maybe even surpass Buffalo in the standings. Now, we have the previously undefeated 8-1 Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Indiana to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Monday night game, I don't want to say that they lost in spectacular fashion, and a lot of people want to point to the face mask call, the fumble, but they did everything in their power to lose that game. They had opportunity after opportunity to take control and seize the game, but I think the pressure just got to them because Washington is not a good team, led by Taylor Heineke. But they are coming into this game going against former analyst Jeff Saturday in his second game coaching. I don't count the first game because it was versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that my great uncle could coach a team and beat Josh McDaniels. He's just not that good. Now, Jonathan Taylor being back, that was a big boost. He had over 130 yards rushing, and he had a 66-yard touchdown run. This new coaching staff, or this new head coach, brought back Matt Ryan as the starter, and it turned into a win. I just don't think that this team has enough to overcome its deficiencies. So I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles to have a bounce back game. I don't think that they can lose two in a row right now. Their team is just too talented. And in our last 1 o'clock matchup, we have those Washington Commies visiting the Houston Texans. Now, those scrappy Commies, you can never turn your back on them. You have to watch them Commies because they will sneak up on you. But they are going against try hard, do whatever we can Houston Texans team. They just don't have the talent. Davis Mills has regressed from last year. And are they even playing Brandon Cooks? I don't understand it. You don't want to play him, but you didn't want to trade him. It doesn't make any sense. They do have rookie sensation Dameon Pierce, who is on the radar for a lot of people for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And if he gets it, I wouldn't complain. Dude is a beast and he runs hard. They play decent defense, but I just don't think that Houston has enough. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to have to pick Washington for the win. Now, to start our slate of 4 o'clock games, we have those downright dogged, sorry Las Vegas Raiders taking on Broncos country. Ain't nobody riding over there. The Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson. Now, Las Vegas, I don't know about you, but once they named Josh McDaniel head coach, I knew that this team wasn't going to do anything because he is not head coaching material. He's proved it before in Denver. He's proved it in Indianapolis when he quit during the press conference that he didn't show up for, which shows you the type of leader that he is. Now, you have Devontae Adams, you have Derek Carr, you have Josh Jacobs, you have Darren Waller. Even though he's been off and on injured, this team just can't seem to get it together. Defensively, offensively, they just recently cut one of their first-round picks, one of the 3 first-round picks that they had from, I believe, the 2019 draft. This team is just a mess. But Josh McDaniel got the dreaded kiss of death when owner Mark Davis said, hey, he's doing a wonderful job, which nobody believes. And then you slide over to Denver, where you have Nathaniel Hackett, who is another head coach, another mediocre hire, which shouldn't have been done, but you know how they do in them coaching circles. Hired a dude who is in over his head. Offensively, that system does not fit. Russell Wilson is not playing well. At least the defense, for the most part, keeps them in games. Now, without Javonte Williams running the ball, they have to rely on Melvin Gordon, who at any given time can fumble the ball. So they don't trust him, so they don't run him enough. So now it's pretty much just pass, which they don't do very well. I would say this would be the game where you pick the team that plays the least worst. I'm guessing. Who can find a way not to be as bad as they normally are? So with that being said, I believe that probably Denver's going to win by 1 point. It's going to be a sorry game, low scoring. Now, to a divisional matchup that I want to see. I want to see the outcome of this game because it affects the standings in our division. You have the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Pennsylvania to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baby Mittens Pickett. First game of the season, Cincinnati Bengals lost to Pittsburgh in a wild game. Joe Burrow had 5 turnovers and they missed 3 kicks. They had a chance to win, but somehow they couldn't get it done. Last time it was a very close game, but this time Cincinnati will be without Jamar Chase. Now, I believe he is slated to return off of IR next week. I'm not for certain, but he will not play in this game. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, has a boost with getting TJ Watt back. So we'll see kind of a different team with TJ Watt rushing the pass. Somehow he inspires them and they're going to play a lot better. But I do think that Pittsburgh's offense just isn't what it needs to be. Now, Najee Harris, he played a little bit better last week. He had 5 yards a carry after averaging under 3 yards a carry in the previous 3 games, I believe. Offensively, Pittsburgh is just a mess. Defensively, they're okay. They're having some injuries on the defensive side, but even before then, they weren't playing that well, and they don't score nearly enough points to win any games. This may be the first season that Mike Tomlin has a below 500 record. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati in the win narrowly. And in our last 4 o'clock game, we have the the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Now, last week, Minnesota Buffalo, easily game of the year, best game I've seen in a long time, back and forth. Josh Allen kind of blew it, made it a little bit worse than it was, but the last 4 minutes of that game, excellent. Now, Dallas, they're having some issues. Dakota, he's not playing well. I know some believe he's a top 10 quarterback. He's really not. He's just a byproduct of a system that he doesn't really win games. He has some good stats, doesn't win games. Now, on the flip side, you have Kirk Cousins. We all know he's not a good quarterback. He's just been blessed with the likes of Allen Thielen, Dalvin Cook, and Justin Jefferson. Now, defensively, Dallas, theoretically on paper, should dominate this game, but has phenom sensation Micah Parsons been exposed? Last week, he was not a rush in. He was a stand-up linebacker, and they ran directly at him, which he didn't really have that big of an impact on the game. He didn't get a sack. He didn't get a hand on Aaron Rodgers, and we all know Aaron Rodgers is not mobile. Kirk Cousins isn't mobile either, but depending on how they game plan it, if their offensive coordinator is smart, they'll game plan at going right at him. But who knows what you're going to get with them. I just think that Dallas is in a little bit of a flux right now. They just signed a wide receiver, Callaway, dude from Florida, that just got cut because he just can't get his stuff together. But I don't think he's going to help them, because if you double CeeDee Lamb, you have slim pickings. Now they do have Schultz, tight end. But other than that, it's not much to go around. And I think that Patrick Peterson has rounded back into form. He may not be the all-pro that he once was, but he's doing damn good out there. 2 interceptions last week. He called the game-ending interception. I just believe Minnesota has too much firepower for the Dallas Cowboys, and they'll take this game. Now, in our Sunday night matchup, we have the Kansas City Chiefs visiting SoFi Stadium in California to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I don't know how the schedule makers did this, but you got the Chargers playing Sunday Night Football 2 weeks in a row. How does that happen? How does that happen? And the Ravens seem to get shafted every year. But anywho, you have all-world Mr. Everything Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense going up against that injured Chargers defense. Now, they still have Derwin James. They have Khalil Mack. He seems to be back. But I just think that offensively, Kansas City has too much for them. Mahomes is going to win the MVP. He's going to lead the league in touchdowns once again. Justin Herbert, somehow he's not that dude. He has the measurables. He has the look. He has the stats, but he's just not a winner. But somehow he's still compared to the upper tier of quarterbacks in the NFL. He just can't win games. He just can't close them out. So Kansas City is going to take this one in a blowout. And lastly, Snooze Fest 2022. Monday Night Football. We have the San Francisco 49ers traveling to the desert to take on the Arizona Cardinals. What's going to happen in this game? Who knows? Is Kyler Murray going to play? Is Colt McCoy going to start again? Because they looked a little bit better under Colt McCoy. Now, Colt McCoy, granted, did look well, but he can only give you a small game sample. He can only play a couple games in a row where he plays well before he reverts back to Colt McCoy. But defensively, San Francisco, for the last, I'm going to say 6 to 10 years, defensively have been that. It's just that, once again, you're dealing with Jimmy Garoppolo. What is he going to give you? Is he going to will you to victory? Is he going to make that mistake in the clutch that's going to lose the game? But being that it is the Arizona Cardinals, I think that San Francisco wins this low-scoring affair. And we have 4 teams on a bye. This must be the Florida portion of the bye week, because we have Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa Bay, and Seattle on bye this week. And that concludes Week 11's NFL action. I just want to thank you all for stopping by, hanging out with your boy, getting some of this Ravens news and NFL action. If you like what you're seeing, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I come out with new videos. And until next time.